Right, so just outside of town there is a hill that has a name. It's called Signal Point. It's very windy right now, but I decided I'm gonna go and climb up this hill. There it is. And you can see going up the side of the hill, there are tire tracks. So you think, oh, why don't I just drive up it? No, these tracks going up the side of this hill, that first little section is at about a 45-degree angle. I'm not exaggerating. I have no idea how or what people actually have been driving to get these things up here. But if I tried in the Falcon, pretty sure I would just tip over backwards. So we're gonna try and hike this thing, and it looks a lot bigger from up close. So this area is called Signal Point. I'm at the top of this hill. It's not really much of a mountain, but it is a lot steeper than it looks. And it's called Signal Point because back in the day, when Fort Benton still operated as a port, they would have people stationed up here who would look out and look to see when they could see the first steamboats making their way up the Missouri. And when they would see them, they would light a signal or send a runner, sound the alarm sort of thing, to let people know that the first steamboats of the season were arriving. Because you gotta remember, this Montana, the whole river will freeze over to a certain extent and just be ice flows. So when it finally starts to fall, March, April, May, and boats can actually make its way, or a boat can actually make its way back up the river, that's the first outside contact that the early settlers of Fort Benton would have with the outside world for 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 months. It's what they always say about Montana is there's only 2 seasons, winter and construction, and winter lasts most of the year. I'm not sure. I don't want to go back down this way. The trail goes off a little bit in that direction, so I think that's the way I'm going to head. We'll see. Just to try and get a good workout in. Something else I forgot to mention. It is right about time that rattlesnakes start waking up, start being more active. A lot of young ones around. It's so windy up here, for the most part, I wouldn't be able to hear them even if they were giving me a warning sign. So I'm not exactly well prepared with ankle length socks. So I'm gonna have to make sure I'm really careful and always look before you step, because getting bit would really, really suck. On a different note, you can see the whole thriving metropolis of Fort Benton. All 1,500 people that live here quite literally live in this encompassing area. And it's a very strange feeling because coming from Bethel Acres in Oklahoma, where I'd lived for the last year, Bethel Acres actually has a higher overall population, but it doesn't have any sort of town center. No sort of actual focused area, because the way the Bethel Acres did everything when they made the town, they wanted to keep the sort of rural lifestyle. So they made a rule that's an ordinance that says that the minimum lot size that you can have to build a house on in Bethel Acres is 5 acres. A couple more things that I thought were interesting. You can see down there, that's the sewage and wastewater treatment facility for Fort Benton. If you look on Google Earth, the road is quite literally called Sewer Lagoon Road, and there is the sewer lagoon. Another thing, I don't know if you can see it right down there, looks like at least 2, maybe 3 mule deer there are tons of mule deer in this town, and they just chill. They'll just, I mean, I've driven right up next to them. They've gone through the middle of town, right through people's front yards. They seem to be pretty acclimated to people in general, and they don't really startle that easily. Now, of course, walking up to one of them, I'm sure will be a different story. Really careful right here too. The ground here is so, I mean, you can just look at that, it is dry and dusty, which means there's a really good chance that my feet could just go out from underneath me, because I could just step on something that's not actually got any real grip for me to hold on to. And as usual, same story as before, there are bound to be just crazy amounts of western rattlesnakes, who knows where. And the last thing I want to do also is to piss one of them off and get bitten. Someday soon, I'm gonna take my drone up and fly it around a little bit, trying not to disturb the delicate balance that is small town America and life in small town America. But the thing is, Fort Benton actually still has an active airport. It's a very small airport, but it still has its own tower and everything. So somewhere I've got to go and find the database with all of the airport phone numbers so I can call up their tower and their control and let them know that, hey, I've got a little quadcopter and I'm going to be flying it around. I'm always bad about when people drive by. It makes me feel awkward holding a little tiny GoPro up, filming myself, especially in a small town like this. But I was saying, you can do a lot worse than Fort Benton if you're looking for that small town feel. It's right on the river, lots of fishing to do if you like fish, lots of boating to do if you like boats, and a scenery that you're probably not really going to find just about anywhere else in the US, especially along a wild and scenic river like the Upper Missouri is. But like I said before, this will be the second time signing off. That's all I've got time for right now. I'm headed back to the Falcon, where I will be trying to get back to writing my book, or at the very least, trying to remember where the heck in my book I was. Until then, I'll see you guys. I'm not sure when. I gotta get better at doing these videos and less awkward sign outs.